That's right, as you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, my brand new Entitled Karen sweatshirt is now live in my store. I worked with an artist to come up with a design that I'm really happy with, and I hope you guys like it too. It's really comfortable and warm, so I don't know, could be a fantastic Christmas present for someone you know or just yourself. If you want to see some more photos of me wearing it, there's a link in the pinned comment to a tweet, and also there's the link right there for the store. So yeah, comment below what you think, let me know. I'm very happy with it and I hope you guys are too. Anyway, with that being said, let's get into some more entitled parent stories. My entitled mother-in-law to be threw my family heirloom engagement ring down a storm drain. I've seen a lot of crazy people in my life, but my potential future mother-in-law is the absolute worst person I have ever met. I, 30 and female, have been with my boyfriend, 31, for 8 months now. For the first few months, everything was amazing. He is the sweetest and most caring man I have ever been with. He likes to surprise me with fun dates and flowers for no apparent reason. The biggest surprise of all though was when I met his mother. I met his parents for the first time a few months ago. The first thing my future mother-in-law said to me when I walked in the door was, "Are you Jewish?" Now, I am not, and I'm not particularly religious, but I was raised Catholic. Once I told her this, it was the beginning of the madness. She immediately stopped talking to me and acted as if I didn't exist. I was extremely nervous about meeting my boyfriend's parents, so this broke my heart. I was determined to make a good impression, so I kept trying to connect with her. This was a huge mistake, and I should have just let it go. Once we were all seated for dinner, she finally decided to try and make conversation. I have naturally red hair, and she asked me if my parents have the same color. I told her that I had the same hair as my mother. She then had the audacity to ask me, "Does the carpet match the drapes?" Oh my god. I had no idea how to respond and just sat there stunned. Seeing my reaction, she said, "Don't worry, I will just ask my son about it later." I looked over at my boyfriend, who seemed equally as shocked, but he didn't say anything. She then started to go on about my hair being too curly. She told me that I really need to learn how to run a brush through my hair and think about my appearance more when I'm out with her son. Then, when I didn't eat much at dinner, she gave me her version of a compliment. I was told it was good that I'm watching what I eat because it would be a shame if I got any bigger. This was just my first meeting with this woman. As soon as I got into my car, I burst into tears until I got home. My boyfriend was texting me and apologizing for his mother's behavior, but the damage was done and I told him I needed time to think. He went into apology overload after this and started sending flowers to my office every day and leaving me messages begging me to talk to him. I finally agreed and we went out to dinner. He told me he spoke with his mother about her inappropriate comments and he swore it would never happen again. With this reassurance, I decided to give it another chance. Fast forward 2 weeks to when he invited me to come to a family birthday party. This time I would also be meeting his sisters and grandparents. His grandparents and sisters are awesome people. They asked me normal questions about my job, family, and friends. His mother seemed to be avoiding me throughout the evening, and honestly, I was okay with that. I went to grab something from my purse and noticed that it was not where I left it. I looked everywhere, but I could not find it. I went and asked my boyfriend, and he began to help me look. He then got a strange look on his face, and he quickly went upstairs. I could then hear a lot of yelling begin upstairs. He came back down holding my purse after a few minutes and told me that we were leaving. Once we got in the car, I asked him what was going on. His mother had taken my purse so that she could see my driver's license. She intended to try and run a background check on me. He told me she had told him this earlier, but honestly had thought she was joking. I thought that it was best if I avoided any of his family functions for the time being. This worked out great for a while, and he went to any of his family parties alone. He would ask me each time before leaving if I was sure that I didn't want to go, but I always declined. Last week, his family had their family reunion, and he asked me to please come with him. I was very reluctant, but considering there would be so many people present, I didn't think she would pull anything. When we got there, everything was going great. I met his extended family and got to catch up with his sisters. His mother did seem to be shooting me death glares all night, but I brushed it off. Soon, she came over and joined a table I was seated at with his sisters and some cousins. The conversation was pleasant as we were talking about his sister's children. His sister has a daughter who is 12 and is the same age as my niece. I then showed his sister a picture of my niece on my phone. His mother took a look at the screen and began to laugh. She told me she hopes that if me and her son ever have children, that they don't look like my niece. My niece is beautiful, by the way, and she is only 12 years old. What kind of monster attacks a 12-year-old child's appearance? This this was my breaking point and I went off like a volcano. I started to scream at her and told her she is the most evil person I've ever had the disadvantage of meeting. I told her if I ever did have children with her son, she can be certain she will never meet them because heck is too far to travel to. I'm not 100% certain of exactly everything that I said, but from what his younger sister later said, it was epic. She began to play the victim and wailed that I had just misunderstood her joke. My boyfriend came rushing over at this point and she threw herself into his arms, telling him I am a horrible woman and he needed to throw me out right now. He told her that wasn't going to happen and to stop making a fool of herself. She seemed to accept this for a moment and sat back down. She just kept sobbing that I just didn't understand how to take a joke. Then something in her snapped as she noticed something that my boyfriend was holding in his hand and began to have another meltdown. I didn't understand what was happening at this point and just stood there watching a grown woman pitch a fit like a toddler. None of what she was saying made any sense to me as it was mostly just incoherent screaming, but I did pick up on many derogatory comments directed my way. My boyfriend then told me we were leaving and told me to grab my things. As I started to get ready, my future mother-in-law made a lunge from my boyfriend's hand and grabbed the small box he was holding. She then looked me dead in the eyes and said, "You will never have this ring, you little lady." She ran outside and threw the box down a storm drain. Turns out that my boyfriend was intending on proposing to me. He had just obtained his grandmother's ring while we were at the reunion. His grandmother is completely heartbroken because now her ring is down a storm drain instead of continuing on in the family as she had always wanted. I don't know where to go from here. I am devastated, confused, and exhausted. Can I ask him to never see his mother again? Is that my place to say something like that? I'm sorry that my story is so long, but I really need to get this rant off my chest. In my opinion, yes, it is definitely your place to say something like that, given how horrible she is. I actually think that this entitled parent goes beyond the Karen on my sweater. The majority of times we see Karens who want to speak to the manager and just complain, whereas this person wants to ruin lives. All I'll say is, if your future husband actually loves you, he will listen to you and understand what you're saying. Yes, it's his own mother, but she is so toxic and vile that you both need to steer clear of her. Moving on to the next story. My entitled parent thinks they're entitled to my wedding money. I was just married about a month ago to my best friend. The wedding was everything we could have wanted other than the most embarrassing moments of my life, including my entitled mother's speech, but that's not important. Maybe I'll keep it for another subreddit. Anyway, with the money we got from the wedding, we decided to get a new mattress and box spring. The one my husband and I had, we had had for almost 4 years. It was a floor model and had a dip which our cat could perfectly fit inside. And the box spring didn't have all the screws, so my father-in-law had to tape it together. That being said, it was time to let it go and invest in our future. We shopped a little and found the perfect bed for us that came with a guarantee of 20 plus years, delivery, disposal of our mattress, and it was over $1,000 off. We bought it on the spot with a couple pillows that were on sale and went about our week. The following week, I had to go back to my hometown for a doctor's appointment. My parents are the typical entitled parents and incredibly judgmental with how my husband and I live our life. When I told them about our investment, they got annoyed, saying I was ripped off and saying, why didn't you just buy one online for like $100? And we got a whole bed for $350 on Kijiji, why didn't you just do that? We don't have a car, so this would not be an option for us. As always, I felt awful when going down to my family's home without my husband and was starting to feel like our investment wasn't worth it. But my best friend and my husband kept telling me we did a good thing and we're going to have this bed in our 40s. Yes, it definitely was a good investment, trust me. I cannot stress the importance of a good mattress, that is for sure. A few days later, I'm doing laundry and I get a call from my dad. Hey, I heard you're taking us out to dinner tonight? What? Yeah, we're celebrating getting your mattress and you're taking us out to dinner. Usually I would consider this a joke, but I knew it was deeper than that. Plus, I just got off the phone with my mum telling me they're cutting me off from school, so I was in no mood to talk about my finances. I never said that. Why would we even celebrate that? Yeah, why would we celebrate you buying me a mattress? What? Well, you clearly have money now, so you can take us all out. No, I don't. Oh, you don't want to? No, I don't have money. Oh, well, okay then. I told my sister about this, hoping she would see how effed up this all was, but she just told me it was because my dad sees I have money now. Like, I deserved it or something. Yeah, money for my future with my husband. A few days later, my brother sent me an article on how mattress companies are ripping people off. I hate my family sometimes. Oh my goodness, what an awful situation to be in. Imagine any time you actually make a good purchase, an investment into your own life, you just get ridiculed by your own family. What sort of support system is that? Sounds to me like a good time to start limiting your interactions with them. Anyway, that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed. Remember, brand new merch is out right now on the store. Go and get your hands on it. I'm gonna be honest, there isn't actually too much of it, so first come, first served. You can click the link right now on screen to see the merch, or instead you can click on another video. With that being said, I will see you all tomorrow with some more Reddit content.